Thanks so much for tuning in and watching The Meredith Show. Each week, we like to bring you someone fascinating that you need to know, which is why it is my pleasure to have Alan Cooper from Midlands Biz join us today. Alan, thank you so much for being with us.
Pleasure to be here, Meredith. Thanks.
Very happy to have you, and we should note that we are not just anywhere. We are actually downtown in the Richland County Library, where they have a co-op space.
It's beautiful.
It's spiffy.
Yeah.
I mean, had no idea that this existed, and free to Richland County residents.
I like your idea of doing an interview with the Richland Library.
Yes.
This is amazing space here.
That's right, we were talking about doing that coming up, so that's a preview, if you will, for those at home. I'd actually like to talk about the fact that you're not originally from the Midlands. In fact, you are Canadian.
I was born in Toronto, Canada.
Love that city.
Yeah, beautiful city, big city, a lot bigger than Columbia. Moved here in the year 2000, so been here for 14 years and love South Carolina and love the Midlands, love Columbia.
When you came here, what drew you here from Toronto, such a fabulous large city?
I was a high school teacher for 15 years, loved it, loved being a coach, loved teaching, loved working with the kids, but just was looking kind of for a career change. And that career change came in the form of joining a company. It was a business opportunity to come down and expand some publications that were here in the Midlands, the Business Monthly magazine, Florence Business Journal, and also the Coastal Carolina Business Journal. So joined that company and was there until 2006.
Okay, and then how was your current digital business born with Midlands Biz and so many publications?
Right, I started in 2006 with a vision of doing both print and web. And loved doing my print publications. Had some great fun doing these print publications for 3 years, I guess in 2007, 2008, 2009. But was really tough to continue on doing print in 2008 and 2009. The writing was on the wall. I mean, you simply couldn't make enough money to do the magazines anymore.
Wow.
So we had started MidlandsBiz.com in 2007. And we really kind of rolled the dice and just said, let's not do print anymore and we'll move everything online. Really felt like we could do a good job of doing everything, if not better, online.
Okay, let's back up and tell people at home. There are some people, I know you have a great readership, who aren't aware of what Midlands Biz is and what it does. Let's tell people at home a little bit about that.
The vision for the sites was really just to, as a community, was just to offer people a free resource to highlight their news, job openings, future events. Wanted to become like a newspaper where I would hire writers and they would write little local community articles. And I really I kind of share a passion that you do too for people who are willing to start their own companies, entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. So I would go out and do what I called a conversation with, and I've been privileged to interview a lot of business leaders from around the Midlands and now around the state in these conversation with. And do some videos of my own too, but really like kind of asking people that question, why did you start your business? What was the spark behind it? Because it's a fun process to go through.
And we both share the passion of telling a good story, and you get to interact with a huge array of businesses. Do you have any favorite interviews through the years? Because there are so many. We were talking about the fact that you've actually done hundreds already in this region.
Yeah, I've done interviews, with, I love interviewing Senator Jim DeMint, political. I've done secretaries of commerce, and every single person I've interviewed, it doesn't matter whether it's, a CEO of an organization, or maybe somebody inside an organization who's really found a way to give back to the local community. It's just, I find it inspiring, and I learn something, and it actually kind of it's like a form of self-motivation for me to kind of continue on with Midlands Biz, and I learned something. You learn something from everybody, and how to run your business better.
Well, a lot of people at home are looking for some inspiration. What inspires you the most?
We have, I think it's 5 things that I like to ask people about in interviews. And I call it the GDECA. Now it really means nothing other than it's kind of an acronym for giving back, diversity, entrepreneurship, continuous education, the knowledge economy, and the arts.
And you do work that into all of your publications, so it's no mistake, it sounds like.
Well, if somebody asks me to, if I get a request for an interview, it's kind of nice to be able to say, listen, does it fit into one of the things that are one of my passions? And, I just feel like Columbia, if it could really strengthen in each of those areas, and it has over the last 14 years. Think about it, the arts, the growing arts community, the growing knowledge economy, the amazing places where entrepreneurs can go and work, and the growing entrepreneurial community.
Being able to have workspaces like this downtown that are available to everybody is so new to this region.
Yeah, it's amazing. So what a great place to not only live, but to grow a business.
Speaking of growing a business, you have a lot of talents that many people, what I call fun facts that people don't know about you. You're fluent in French.
Majored in French.
And do you have any opportunity to speak it? Do you still speak with family in France?
Not so much. I am a member of the Alliance Française here in town, and I've got to get out, and there's plenty of opportunities in town.
I didn't even know there is a club. Is that a club?
There is an amazing club here in the Alliance Française.
Do you eat French food as well as speak French together? I mean, tell me what that's all about.
I've got to get involved more, but no, it's funny. I don't have the opportunity to speak French very often, but
it's beautiful language.
Yeah.
I envy you. You also have some really neat hobbies, including ornithology.
Oh, I don't know. I've always loved.
That means you love birds. For people at home
yes.
who aren't familiar, watching them, studying them, reading about them.
No,
photos?
just listen. Yeah, I don't really emphasis on amateur ornithologist, but when I was a kid, every speech I did in grades 6, 7, and 8 was some kind of bird of prey: hawks, owls, eagles. Wow. So I've always loved birds, and yeah.
So you still do.
Still do.
And you've traveled, from what I understand, to 26 different countries.
Well, I really, when I went to university in third year, I wanted to go somewhere out of the country. And I think I majored in French because it offered third year abroad. And it was literally,
You did it mostly all in 1 year?
No, it was a 4-year French degree, but they insisted that you go and spend third year in a Francophone country. So I lived in France for a year, traveled all throughout Europe there, have since traveled pretty extensively in Southeast Asia, and a little bit of Central America, but wish I could travel more. Have 3 kids, and it's kind of put a little crimp on the
travel?
The globe-trotting, yes.
Well, there's always time for that, they say, down the road. And you're very busy here because Midlands Biz is not your only love. You have several publications, and you're in Low Country, Upstate, and you also have a digital magazine. Explain that.
Well, I call them all digital magazines. It's just, an e-newsletter, a magazine, but everything is online. Mm-hmm. Everything is free. We really solicit people to send us their information. We offer we help companies highlight their news. So you send us your information, we put it up on the site with links, we make it look good. We have taken that model in Columbia. As we grew in Columbia from 5,000 visits a month to 20,000 visits a month
wow.
to 30,000 visits a month, we sort of saw an opportunity to expand to the upstate and low country. The sites are very similar. Real local focus and local content. A year ago, we also started a Friday issue where we kind of solicit articles from the amazing group of writers in town, bloggers and writers in town. We call it Midlands Life. Really proud of it. It's a great Friday gardening, food, wine, travel, inspiration. Really love Midlands Life. There's some great writers on it. So,
before we leave, we've got to comment. Alan is a real believer in one of his passions, which is giving back, which is why you happen to have the suave mustache on your face that you have. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I wish I could give back more, but this mustache will be shaved off. I don't know when you're airing this, but in a few days.
Okay.
It was Mustache Madness 2014 was to raise money for the South Carolina campaign to prevent teenage pregnancy. It's just a great organization. I love it because they're really making a difference. They're achieving their goals. They're reducing the incidence of teenage pregnancy. It's dropped in half, I believe, over the past 20 years.
So the mustache, is it a conversation piece to show solidarity? I mean,
well,
tell me
people who do mention it, Meredith, have donated. So yeah.
I see. So
right?
it's like a hook.
It's a hook.
I'm on the hook. Is
you
that what we're
mentioned the
saying?
stash.
You got to give the cash. Very good.
I never came up with that. Yeah, very good.
See what happens on TV?
Yes.
A lot of fun things. Well, we should let people know the conversation should continue with you. And you really, again, another plug, do like to share news of all sorts and job openings. So the best way to reach you is acooper@midlandsbiz.com, which is, again, on the screen at home. And we hope that you continue to be in touch with Alan Cooper. We know we're excited about working with you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Meredith.